Good morning. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Sandy. Here I am, a little bit late. Sometimes here's what happens. I sit down at my computer to get ready to talk to you, and then I get an idea that something I want to look up or something I want to know more about. And then I start reading and I get totally into it, and then I forget that it's time to get going. Yeah. Waking up was hard to do this morning. Waking up is hard to do. Good morning, Tracy. So I haven't gotten a ton of responses on my hair yet. But interestingly, it's very split down the middle on cut it off, leave it long. I don't know what to do. I spoke to my hairdresser, my guy, my friend Robin yesterday. Asked him if he could cut my hair when I came to town this next week, and he's going to be out of town. And I said, Well, then he said, so just come in on another day next week. And I said, no, I don't want to drive back and forth twice. I don't have any plans to do that. And he said, if you were really ready to cut your hair, you would be camping out on my doorstep. You're not ready. Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty weird, isn't it? I know. You think Fritzy and I look alike? Well, it's funny. Nobody has said that in years, but when I was a kid, oh, Tracy just said Fritzy and I have the same eyes. Um, when I was a kid, I actually got stopped on the street by a total stranger. I was like maybe 10, 9. And this woman came up to me and said, "Oh, you're Fritzy Schneider's daughter, aren't you?" And I said, yeah. She said, "Oh, you look exactly like her. I would have picked you out of a crowd anywhere." Who knew? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I guess thank you. So I'll tell you a funny story about eyes. When my son was in junior high school, he had a friend named Bill Chin, whose family was from China. And I had my balloon store at the time. And one day, an Asian woman came in and said to me in her very thick Chinese accent that she knew who I was because her son, and the way she said it was beer, was good friends with my son. This I figured out from this very thick accented woman. And I figured out that beer was Bill. And I said, "Oh, Bill, yes, he's such a nice young man." And she said to me, "You look," again, in a very thick accent, "you look, your son looks just like you." And I'm thinking, he looks just like me? I'm a little on the chubby side. He's like skinny as a rail. He's blonde. I have dark brown hair. He's got light green eyes. I've got dark brown eyes. What about us could possibly, he's tall, I'm short, what could possibly look the same? And I looked at her and I said, "We look the same?" And she said, "Yes, same eyes." And that was when I realized that this shape of eye looks the same to someone who comes from a society where everybody has a different shape eye. I thought that was kind of cool. You know how you can mistake someone who's Chinese for someone who's Japanese or Korean if you're not used to seeing that shape of an eye. Anyway, it was just so cute to me. "Oh yeah, your son looks just like you." Really? Okay, we'll move on. It's American Frog Day. Once, when I was driving across the country in the middle of a horrendous rainstorm, Fritzy was in the back seat. No, Fritzy was in the front seat. Max, who was like 5 at the time, was seatbelted in the back seat. Terrifying storm in the dark, in a strange place. We finally found a hotel. I pulled off the freeway. I got them into the lobby, got them a room, got them upstairs, and I came downstairs to get the bags out of the car. And sitting in front of my car was the biggest bullfrog I have ever seen in my entire life. I would call that an American frog. It was probably the size of a small cat and big green thing and kind of terrifying looking because he was so big and I'd only seen like little frogs. Burl Ives, way down, I think it was Burl Ives. Maybe not. Way down south in the yakety yak, a bullfrog jumped from bank to bank just because I don't have the rights to that song. Do you have to have rights to an old song like that? Just because he'd nothing better for to do. Anyway, it's area code day. IR88284. That's Irving 88284. That was my aunt and uncle's phone number in Chicago when I was about 6. Why can I remember that? Yeah. We didn't have area codes back then. There was no such thing. In fact, I don't remember, but Irving 88284. I mean, it's like my unk. I remember my home one too. Isn't it funny how you can remember your childhood phone number, but you can't remember why you walked into a room? Yeah, I know. It's pretty crazy, right? Anyway, it's area code day because at some point there were so many telephones, I guess, that they had to keep splitting them up and giving them area codes. And now we have all these numbers to remember. If you lost your phone, what would you do? I don't know about you, but I don't know anybody's phone number by heart. Maybe 2 or 3 people. That's it. They're all in my phone. If I lose my phone or my phone goes crash, I can't call you anymore. Yeah, it's a true story. It is National Vanilla Cupcake Day. Yeah, I don't like vanilla cupcakes. I am a vanilla person, hardcore vanilla. But I don't like vanilla cupcakes and I don't like vanilla cake. It's got to be chocolate. That's just my rule. What does that say? Oh my goodness, I forgot to get glasses on. It says, oh, yes, commercials. Hi, good morning, Stephen. First of all, commercials, TV commercials that had phone numbers in them, you heard them so much. Like today, it's Cars for Kids, 1877 Cars for Kids, right? But we used to have this test to see if someone was really from Chicago, right? Okay, this is a test for you, Stephen. I hope you're paying attention. Ready? Hudson 32, you finish the phone number. That was for a carpet company in Chicago. And everywhere I go, when people say the people who are my age say that they're from Chicago, they have to finish that phone number or I don't believe them. Hudson 32, you got it, baby. 700. It was a carpet store. Go figure. What's the craziest thing you remember? I seriously, I remember so many old things, like my name, my birth date. You know what's weird? Fritzy is 98, right? She doesn't remember what year she was born, but she still knows her birthday. Yeah, there's so much she doesn't know, but at least the last time I asked, that was something she did know. She can't remember where she lived. There's a lot of things she doesn't know, but her birthday she knows. Interesting. It's also the birthday of the U.S. Marine Corps, Semper Fi. The smoking lamp is lit for one cigarette and one cigarette only. I knew a lot of Marines back in the late 60s, early 70s. It was Vietnam time. They were walking around a lot. Some of them not so much anymore. I had a boyfriend and a lot of acquaintances killed in Vietnam. Yeah, kind of like my parents' generation in World War II. Okay, 1927. Magic kiss. The lips light. Okay, we're not going to go into this. This is like fodder for you, Stephen, for your vintage Facebook page. Come on, put that on your vintage. Finish this phone number. Put that on your vintage page. In 1927, Hans Lingseth died. Sometimes I get these little hairs on my chin. Yeah, right in here. And I have to get a tweezer and pull them out because I don't want to look like my Auntie Sarah, who was a wonderful human being, but had as much hair as most men I knew. I don't want to look like her. Here's the guy who had more hair than anyone I know. Hans Lingstein. He was like one of those Ripley's Believe It or Not guys. I think he might have been in Ringling Brothers. I don't know. He grew a beard that was 17 and a half feet long. Yeah. So there's this thing, I guess, that human hair will only grow to a certain point. So he would, I guess, like braid it and twist it, I think kind of like a Rasta, and then just keep adding to it. I don't know. It wasn't clear, but it said his beard was 17 and a half feet long. You could like in cold days, wrap it around your neck, use it as a comforter. Yeah. Ugh. Do I remember Battleship Sorry or Chinese Checkers? Are you kidding me? I still play all of them. Yeah. Candyland. Yeah. I liked Candyland. I thought that was fun. Sesame Street. Happy birthday to Sesame Street. Jim Henson's Puppets, Sesame Street. It debuted on public TV on this day in 1969. So it is Sesame Street Day. I wrote down some interesting little facts for you about Sesame Street. I did balloons for their birthday party. I did. Yeah, they had a birthday party in LA. And I worked with the company that made all the Sesame Street foil balloons, and we used those and rubber balloons, and we had a birthday party for Sesame Street one year. It was a very good job. I also got to do that for Mickey Mouse. Yeah, that was like one of the biggest jobs I ever had. Anyway, back to Sesame Street. Oscar the Grouch was originally purple. Then he became orange. And the Oscar the Grouch that everyone knows is green. And he tells everyone that it's because he hung out in the swamp mushy muddy, and it turned him green. I can't tell you why he went from purple to orange to green. So we're going to have to go with whatever he said. Bert actually had a twin. And there was one episode, I guess, where they introduced Bert's twin, whose name was Bart. So there was Bert and Bart, but Bert was the big guy, and his twin only showed up once. And it makes me think of Maverick, one of my favorite TV shows, James Garner, because, oh my gosh, I love James Garner. And he was Brett Maverick, but he had a brother, Bart, who used to show up sometimes and sometimes take over a whole episode. And when he did, it would break my heart. But my father liked Brett better than Bart, or Bart better than Brett. And I like Brett, or I don't know, something like that. What? Because of boogers. That's why he's green, because of boogers. Do you have a thing about boogers? I don't. But my daughter, she would change a dirty diaper before she would wipe a dirty nose. Isn't that interesting? Booger's a booger. I mean, I would much rather, like have to deal with mine than yours. Don't get me wrong. It's like, ew. Okay, forget about it. We won't talk about it. The woman who played Big Bird, Carol Spiney. Carol Spiney played Big Bird. I think she also played Oscar for a while, but she quit. I like to say she left the street when she was 84 years old. She'd been playing Big Bird for over 50 years. Can you imagine? She said she loved her job. The only song that was written for Sesame Street that hit Billboard was Rubber Ducky, You're the One. I don't have the rights to it, so I just sang the title. Just the title, and I didn't even sing it. I just said it in a sing-songy voice. Rubber Ducky, you're the one. Come on, everybody loved Rubber Ducky, right? And little known fact, Cookie Monster was the only monster on the show who had 5 fingers. I think it was so he could count to 10 and count his cookies, but I don't know that for a fact. I do not know that. Okay, this was the coolest trivia. In 1940, Walt Disney Walt Disney was hired by the FBI to be an informer. Really? Yes. He was looking for Hollywood subversives. I know there was a lot of stuff going on in Hollywood, with but I didn't think that was as late as 1954. Anyway, 1940. Oh, maybe that was the right time when they were looking for communists in Hollywood. Yeah, he was hired by the FBI. Well, okay. What else? Oh, there was some really weird things going on. I want to switch over to this one. In 1951, Sir Hugh Beaver was the managing director of the Guinness Brewery. And he and the guys were sitting around the bar, the pub, and they were having this argument, like something about which game bird moves the fastest. And everybody had their own opinion. And he couldn't look it up anywhere, and he didn't have his phone, so he couldn't Google it. And hey, it was 1951. Anyway, he was upset that there was no final answer, that he couldn't like pick up a book and find out what the fastest bird was. So he hired these twins, Norman McWhirter and Ross McWhirter, and he had them compile a book of these kind of facts of the biggest, the most, the farthest, the everythingest. And it was called the Guinness Book of World Records. And it was a success instantly. It still is. And that started not that long ago, like 75 years ago, whatever, 80 years ago. Oh, yeah, I guess it's 51. Oh, that's only 70 years ago. So for 70 years, we can thank Sir Hugh Beaver for paying to start the Guinness Book of World Records. Isn't that cool? 1871. That was when in Africa, Henry Morton Stanley encountered David Livingstone in Central Africa, as I said, and said, "Dr. Livingston, I presume." That's when that famous line came in. Very cool. 1977, the first test tube baby was born, actually in a petri dish. Was started in a petri dish, and then it was in vitro fertilization, and then 4 years later they got her a little sister. Yeah. What must that be like? I mean, I have to imagine that she's been followed like daily, and her sister since then. I don't even know if they're born in 77. Yeah, they're not that old. I've got a kid that age, for crying out loud. Okay. You know the saying, win one for the Gipper? All right. Well, I had to find out where that came from, because I remember even when Ronald Reagan was running for president, he said to his vice president, I think that was George Bush, right, Senior? He said to him, "Come on, get out there and fight and win one for the Gipper," meaning himself. And I didn't get it. Okay, so here's the thing. Newt Rockne gave that famous speech in 1926, and he used it to inspire his team, Notre Dame, to go beat Army at football. They had never been beat, right? They were like, yeah, okay. So undefeated. That's the word I was looking for. So in order to get them to go out there and fight, guys, he quoted George Gipp, Gipp, the Gipper, who had been a football player, right? And he was on his deathbed with pneumonia. And this was what he said. And this was what Newt Rockne quoted to the team to inspire them and get them to get out in the field and win. "I've got to go, Rock. It's all right. I'm not afraid. Sometime, Rock, when the team is up against it." This is so melodramatic. It's hard to believe anyone actually said it. "Sometime, Rock, when the team is up against it, when things are wrong and the breaks are beating the boys, ask them to go in there with all they've got and win just one for the Gipper. I don't know where I'll be then, Rock, but I'll know about it and I'll be happy. So the story goes that Newt Rockne used this halftime speech to inspire Notre Dame, and I guess they won. And Ronald Reagan, who played the Gipper in the movie, see, now we're tying it all together, he said to George W. Bush, George, go out there and win one for the Gipper. Yeah. So we had a Gipper president, I guess. I don't know. Win one for the Gipper. They were looking for enemy spies. Propaganda was very important. So Disney was working undercover. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. They were looking for enemies. Spencer Tracy? Really? It was Spencer Tracy? I don't remember that. Okay, but I probably saw it. Oh, happy birthday to Johnny Marks. This just cracks me up. You know how Irving Berlin wrote White Christmas? Jewish guy writes White Christmas. I'm sorry, but you guys, you need to like line up and thank my people for writing your Christmas songs. Seriously, get this. Johnny Marks. It's his birthday today. I don't think he's still around though. He wrote Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Wait, there's more. Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. Jewish kid. And Have a Jolly Holly Christmas. Or is it Holly Jolly? Is it Jolly Holly or Holly Jolly? Whatever it is, he wrote that. And The Most Wonderful Day of the Year. Did I get that wrong? I don't know. Anyway, he wrote all those songs. Yeah, I think it was because there was like this year Hanukkah is a month early, so he had like a whole month between Hanukkah and Christmas with nothing to do, so he wrote Christmas songs. You're welcome. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You know who died today? The Rifleman. Chuck Connors. Not today. I mean, we go through this every day. In 1992, on this date. Yeah. Chuck Connors, the Rifleman, died. He was, before he was an actor and he, like flipped around his rifle and was a single dad, he played for the Boston Celtics. Yeah, he was a basketball player. He was the first player to ever jump and hit so hard that he shattered a backboard. Yeah, that would be the Rifleman. But he also played for the Brooklyn Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs. Really? He was a ball player, and an actor. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, the guy who wrote the opening theme to the Mickey Mouse Club, the guy who was the leader of the Mickey Mouse Club, he died on this day in 1964. Jimmy Dodd. Jimmy. Yeah. He was the leader of the Mickey Mouse Club from 55 to 59. We did anything he said because he was the leader. Who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me? MICKEYMOUSE. All right. Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road. 8 weeks, number one. 8 weeks, that album for Elton John was number one. That album, by the way, didn't have just Yellow Brick Road. It also had Diana's song, Candle in the Wind, and it also had Benny and the Jets on it. Yeah, quite. And, of course, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Quite an album. Nice work, guys. In 1975, David Bowie had a number one with Space Oddity, which I thought I hadn't heard of until I found out that it was really about Major Tom. Yeah, then I knew exactly what it was. It was first released in 1969 to go along with the landing of Apollo 10. Yeah, and then it came out again and number one song, David Bowie. 1979, big year for the Eagles. Gonna be a heartache tonight. Heartache tonight, I know. Yeah. Okay. So, isn't this the 8th year of Elton's farewell tour? He does have a lot of farewell tours, doesn't he? Yeah. All right, guys. It's time for today's word art by Sandy. Somebody asked me yesterday, do you really do all that stuff yourself? Answer, yes, every day. It's what I do. I have books and books. Maybe one day I'll just show you the stacks of art books that I have that are filled with word art. By the way, this is important. And Stephen and Tracy, you guys would be great for this. I'm reworking my website and reworking the store. I'm having it reworked. I don't know how to do these things. So I'm reworking the store. So within the next week or two, don't do your Christmas or Hanukkah shopping yet, because you're going to be able to get word art stuff, not just my new stuff, but some of the other stuff, like your favorite word art on a t-shirt or a mug or a pillow or a purse, like that kind of thing. You've got to tell me what your favorite ones are. Look back through years of word art and pick out your favorite ones that you would consider buying for someone if it was on something that you could give as a gift. Please, because I can't do all of them. I mean, there's one guy who told me he wanted $20 per photo to get it to be the right dimensions to turn into something else. I don't know how to do that. I'm going to try and learn. But I can't do thousands of them. There are a bunch already up there that are magnets and stuff like that. But I need you to tell me, like in the last 2 years, say, what are your favorites? Give me like 5 of your favorites from the last 2 years. And let's see if we can get them made into products for you. But don't pick it unless you really think it's something that you would even consider buying to give as a gift or buying for yourself. All right, so today's word art. Does my childlike exuberance exhaust you? Sorry, not sorry. Yeah. Now, I must admit that just as I can have those incredibly crazy highs, I can also get those same childish go hide in your room and put your head under your pillow kind of things. But most of the time, I'm just high on life. I have this childlike exuberance that I know a lot of people don't say good morning because they're afraid I'll talk to them because I have all this energy in the morning, and most people don't have energy in the morning. Yeah. Are you a day person, night person, morning person? I kind of think I'm maybe all three, and it can be annoying. Sometimes I exhaust myself. Yeah, it's a true story. All right, kids, time to go get your day going. I'm going to go to the ball machine today and play tennis all by myself. That way I know I won't overdo it. You enjoy my llama, my favorite mug. And the inside of it matches what I'm wearing. That was part of my impetus in picking it. That was my sip. Here's my smile. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow, right here. Unless, of course, I figure out some other place to be. Oh, and keep your fingers crossed if that's what you're supposed to do, because today is the day I think that the county might say, start digging that swimming pool. Love you guys.